So I was just driving past this church in my local community, and they have a really big sign out in front of that church, and it says hope. And it got me thinking. Let me talk about this in my video. So I think when I looked at that sign, I thought, yeah, that makes sense. That is what churches and what Christianity stands for, and is what it offers people in a world that they presume to be lost and just a hopeless world. So, come to Christ, come to the altar of Christ, come to our church, come to Christianity, and receive hope. And, I have to agree, at least in the sense that that is what they're advertising. That is what they're offering. I mean, it is a sense of hope in a hopeless world. I mean, whether or not long term that's good for somebody, I don't know. I guess we're all striving, we're all looking for something in life. And so, if somebody's struggling and having a difficult time, maybe they do need a little encouragement. Maybe they do need a little hope to get them through difficult times. And I've thought this in the past that, Christianity is much like a crutch. It's you use crutches when you have an injury, if you're a broken leg or whatever. It's a crutch, and it helps get people through life. And is that so bad? Is that so wrong? Well, I suppose it's probably not. If it gives them hope and it helps sustain people, how could that be bad? I don't know. I mean, I think religion in general becomes bad when it's genocide, when, they try to impose their morality on other people, try to get other people to conform to their ways of thinking. I mean, yes, there are a lot of negative downsides to religion, to Christianity. But I don't know if this offering of hope thing is probably one of them. Only in the sense that maybe if you really truly believe that what you believe in is true, only to later find out that, again, I don't know this, but to find that it's not true, I suppose that could be setting people up for failure. But I will say, though, I do think that at times when you're a believer, there are times, because you believe the way you do, and because the world doesn't work the way the Bible says, or the way Christians believe it should or does, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, they say prayer works, but it only works indeterminately or indiscriminately or whatever. And so either it's, and they have to kind of rationalize that, say, well, why doesn't prayer work all the time? And they have a way of harmonizing that away and saying that, God doesn't give you everything you ask for, He only gives you what you need. I mean, they have all these kind of these ideas in response to prayer not working the way they say it works. Oh, well, that's only because all these little exceptions that they make. Oh, well, in this case, that kind of thinking is what they have. So I don't know. I think that, yes, hope is a good thing, but what a shame if the individual, finds out later in life that, wow, geez, things aren't quite the way I thought in my belief system, and that could be problematic. That could be very shocking to someone, and very upsetting that they come to realize that, this God whom I put my trust in and dedicated much of my life to, turns out that it's not real after all. But again, none of us really know that for sure, but we can certainly look at certain inconsistencies within the Christian religion, or many religions in general, look into their belief system and see the flaws, see the shortcomings, and that should give us reason to pause, and that should give us reason to question it and say, you know what, based on what we can see here, you say it's this way, Christian, but really, in reality, it's this way. I think they have to fess up and have a come to Jesus moment, so to speak, on their own faith at some point. At least I hope that people that are believers will, and they'll come to terms with the fact that they don't really know that what they believe in is really true or not. They take it on faith, and faith is not fact. It's not knowing something for certainty. It's believing in the things not seen and not heard, but just hoped for. So here we go again, back to full circle of, that's what religion and that's what Christianity offers people, is hope. And I don't want to make it sound like I think that having hope is a bad thing. There are times in our lives when, if all you have is hope to get you through some really difficult circumstances, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just that what I wanted to show in this video here is that I think a bulk of what Christianity, the biggest selling point that Christianity has for people, is they offer them hope. They offer them the promise of things are going to be better. Maybe not in this life, but you know what? If you've been done an injustice in this life, God will remedy that. You know, He'll rectify that. He'll hold those people that have done you wrong account. Whether that's true or not, that's yet to be seen. But you know, it gives people hope, and I think that people do need hope. So I think that is one of the biggest selling points, and one of the biggest reasons people are drawn to Christianity is because of the hope factor. But that aside, that doesn't mean that what they believe in is true. It doesn't mean that the God they serve is real, or that anything that they put their entire life, investment into, is going to end up being as they thought it was. I mean, again, I don't know that it won't be either, but I'm just saying that, having faith is fine, but you don't know if it's true or not. I mean, that's the whole reason behind having faith in it. Faith is not knowing for sure and not having that certainty. But yet many religious people seem so certain that they're certain about what they're certain about. It's kind of like, come on, you don't really know. None of us really know any more than I'll honestly admit that I don't really know that God doesn't exist, and I don't know that the things I'm saying are true. But you know what? I feel a certain level of comfortableness with it. I feel a certain level of certainty about based on what I can see happening around me, based on the problems that exist in the Bible, based on issues that arise within Christian theology, Christian belief, and their belief system just doesn't hold up with the real world. So, if nothing else, you just get some hope out of your belief system and your faith in Christianity. I mean, I guess some people just need that in life. Some people just can't do life straight. They just aren't able to embrace the harsh realities of life. There's probably nothing up there waiting for you in heaven. There probably is no heaven. There probably is no God. And the sooner you can accept that, embrace that, I think the better you are. The more evolved you become, and in your humanity, and you're in trying to embrace the realities of life. I mean, again, I don't know that God doesn't exist is a reality, but it certainly would appear to be the case based on looking around us that we don't see evidence of God. Now, again, Christians see things that they associate and attribute to and say and call is evidence for God, but again, that's debatable whether or not it really is or isn't. So I feel like the best way for me anyways, and you may differ or you may agree, it makes no difference to me either way, but for me is to do life straight, is to look at life and say there's probably no God. Yes, it's nice to have hope at times when things seem very hopeless, but wouldn't it be just better to just grapple with the situation and just come to terms with it and find acceptance in, it's like a person going through the grieving stages of denial, and they deny and they deny and die. And for many Christians, they deny the facts and the evidence that's around them. They just bury their head in the sand like an ostrich and they deny. And I don't think denial is a good thing. I mean, I understand it's a stage in the grieving process, but you're not grieving when you're living your life, and if you don't want to embrace the harsh realities of life, well, I mean, that's your choice, but wouldn't it be better to just kind of live a life of, authenticity? I mean, just of realness, and not try to bury your head in the sand and pretend that the world operates in a way that we really can't show that it does, and that they can't show that it does? That just seems to me to be the more honest way, the more authentic way for one to live their life. But again, we're all free to choose to do whatever we want to do, but it just seems that at the end of the day, if that's how you're going to live a life where you have blinders on and you don't want to see some harsh realities of life, and you don't, because you want to hold on to this hope that gets you through, and that you want to stay in this kind of like childlike state, a childlike mentality, I don't know that long term that's good. I think that sets you up for a lifetime of disappointments, of shaking your fist towards the heaven because, God is going to let you down because He doesn't exist. He's not there. There's nothing there. Again, I don't know this, but try praying for that thing you want. You probably won't get it because prayer doesn't work, because it doesn't go anywhere, because it's just more of a psychological processing that you do in your mind. It's just for mental clarity, mental peace of mind. That's why prayer is so helpful for people. It's like another state of meditation, I think, in my opinion. Anyways, I know I'm covering a lot of ground in a lot of different areas. The whole purpose of this video was just kind of cover about hope and recognizing that I think that's the biggest thing that Christianity offers people is hope. And, you know, that's fine. At the end of the day, if it helps somebody, so be it. But I think it would be much better for a person to just do life straight and accept the harsh realities of life. See you next time. Take care.